Hi everyone! So if you've been here for a while now, you may know that at the end or at the beginning of each year, I make a self-portrait, and it isn't because this goofy face needs to be preserved for the afterworld to be seen and admired. It is just a personal project that I've been doing for the past few years now, and I am bad at breaking habits, so let's just do it this year as well. Because from year to year, not only will my style change, but my look will most certainly change as well. So I just think it is fun to see how different the portrait can be from year to year. It's also a good opportunity for me to reflect over the year that has passed. I mean, I don't know how much I want to dwell on 2020. It is what it is, but it wasn't all bad, not for me anyway. It was rough, but some good things happened as well. And I can also share my thoughts and goals for this new year, because I have a few things that I want to do. And to make it a little more interesting than just doing a marker or color pencil portrait, I am actually gonna use this smart art box, and I have no idea what's inside, so I don't know how this portrait is gonna turn out. Yeah, let's find out. And also, if you guys have any thoughts or goals for 2021, feel free to share them with us. I find it quite inspiring to see what other people are up to and what their thoughts and goals are. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. So yeah, let's open this, guys. I am actually a little nervous that it will be crafting supplies and not art supplies, but I will keep my fingers crossed. And also, really quick, I just want to say thank you to Smart Art for sending me these boxes, and if you would like to check them out yourself, I will have a link in the description box below. Not sponsored, so yeah, let's get on with it. Oh, we got the pretty orange tissue paper as usual. It always looks so fancy. Oh, I really hope it isn't graphite. So let's start with this one, the Smart Art pamphlet with all the different projects and all the art supplies. Let's look at that later. A scratch board. Oh, this is heavy. Okay. I'm not exactly sure what it is. To me, scratch board is when you scratch away the black surface and then there's colors underneath. But then these tools, they kind of look like the ones you use for stamp making. And then we have graphite pencils. Just regular graphite pencils from Faber-Castell and a Strathmore sketch pad. Oh, 100 sheets, 60 pounds or 89 GSM. It is always nice to get Strathmore products in these art boxes because Strathmore is made in the US, so it is crazy expensive here in Europe, so it is always nice to try these out. And what is this? Graphite paper used to transfer patterns onto almost any surface. So it is like a tracing or transfer paper, I suppose. And then we have this big board. I don't know how well you can see it because it is so shiny. Royal and Lanical engraving art, copper. We got 6 blank boards. So I guess this is what I talked about before with the surface layer that you scrape away and then you got a color underneath. So I guess the color on this one is copper. But yeah, we got 6 of these, which is good because I might need a little bit of practice. So yeah, it looks like a black board, but I can see a little bit of copper in the corners. So I'm gonna use these tools to scrape away a pattern on this board. And yeah, this is gonna be super interesting. I'm gonna make a portrait using this. I have to say, it feels quite durable. I can't scrape away the black with my fingernails, so it doesn't feel too easy to make any mistakes, hopefully. And we got a little sticker. Let's just open this too. So yeah, I guess this is the same thing as this one, just a different format. Feels a little all over the place, to be honest, but oh, look at that. Can you actually do that using the scratchboard? So yeah, it looks like you're supposed to work in different steps. So you sketch out the idea with these pencils in the sketchbook, and then you use this graphite paper to transfer the sketch from the sketchbook to either the scratchboard or the engraving board. Let's start with this guy. Doing a little bit of practice on these different scratchboards. Oh my, the handle, it feels a little cheapish, to be honest, a little plasticky, and it got this very sharp edge. And here is the different textures that you can get with each of the blades. So this will be my practice board. It is already a little scratched, so I might as well use it. Oh, okay, it is a lot harder than I thought to scrape away. You definitely need to use a lot more pressure than I first thought. That's not a pleasant sound. It is producing a lot of these little crumbs or whatever you could call it. This one you can make really fine lines with. It is very hard to make circles with though. We have this guy. Oh my, it is gripping the surface. Maybe I'm gonna do it the other way. Yeah, the other way works a lot better. You're supposed to drag it rather than push it. So yeah, that actually makes a lot smoother lines. And then we have this guy. Oh, this one won't even cut through. Oh, it says that it's supposed to make feather-like strokes, but I don't know about that. But I feel like this could be used as shading, like if you want something in between white and black. And apparently you can use colored ink to color in all of these white lines, so that is something that you can do. So let's try the copper board. I'm super curious how this will work, because this board that I just used is apparently clay coated and it's covered in India ink. So the black stuff that I'm scraping away is India ink. But this copper board is apparently something else because it doesn't have that same coating on it. Ooh. This one is a lot easier to scrape. You don't need nearly as much force to scrape this one as the other one. It's a little hard to see what I'm doing though, since everything is so shiny. And it's making a mess. I'm not exactly sure what style I can use. Realism seems a little hard on this type of paper, but so I'm just gonna do a little bit of thinking and sketching, see what I can come up with. So yeah. I wanted to try out this graphite paper as well, just to see how it works. So I made a quick little sketch in the sketch pad, cut out a piece of the graphite paper and traced the sketch. And then I put the paper on the scratch board and I traced the sketch again using the backside of one of the carving tools. And this way the coating on the back of the graphite paper will be transferred to the board, which worked perfectly fine. So I tried it on the foil board too, which also worked. The only problem is that the lines from the paper are white and the foil is copper, so the white lines will kind of interfere with the copper and show through, which I don't like. It works a lot better on the scratch board since it's white, but all the lines from the paper makes it look a little messy, to be honest. This foil board, it is slightly curved, so prevent it from moving up and down too much when working on it, I needed to tape it flat. So I taped it to a piece of cardboard so I can still turn it around to reach certain angles with the tools. So to get around the whole process of using the white graphite paper, I decided to use my Etchr Mirror instead. I have a whole video of it if you would like to see it. And what it does is that it reflects reflects the screen of a phone or a tablet to the drawing surface, so I can very easily just trace the image directly to the board. And yes, I am tracing my own photo. I am not freehanding this portrait since there aren't that much room for any mistakes. I can't erase anything. Any line that I make are permanent, so I was a little nervous, but it worked surprisingly well. I was really happy to get some guidelines to follow. It was a little tricky filming this because the lights are reflecting in both the black and the copper. It is very shiny, so it is hard for the camera to pick up all the details. It looks so much better in real, the copper. It looks really glowy and nice with the black. It was also hard for me to see sometimes what I was doing since it is so shiny and reflective. And speaking of reflection, as I mentioned before, in these videos I like to reflect, great segue, reflect a little on the past year. And yes, we all know 2020 was tough. There isn't really that much to say about that. But something positive that happened to me anyway is that I went from being unemployed to self-employed, and I got unemployed before all of this happened back in late 2019, so it didn't have anything to do with the pandemic. But in the beginning of 2020 I could finally start my own art business, meaning I am now living off my own work, what I create, which has been scary, frustrating, but also very freeing. I am now my own boss and I decide myself what I want to do. But then on the other hand, I am very affected by how well my art sells on different websites and how my videos performs. The income can really vary from month to month, which finally gave me the kick in the butt that I needed to create a Patreon page. And yeah, I didn't intend to make this into self-promotion, I swear, but if you are interested in checking out my Patreon page, I will have a link below. But yeah, it has been a great help for me so far. I am so grateful for all the support that I get from you guys. And also last year I opened my Redbubble store, and not only has it been an extra financial support, it also made me draw a lot more and come up with fun and cute ideas for prints. So I have just loved working with that. It has been a great distraction from time to time. So yeah, I had a bunch of little projects during last year. I was also supposed to illustrate a children's book, but we kind of put that project on ice for a while. Maybe in the future, who knows? But I think the most important thing that I learned or discovered last year is how differently I value certain things now. Things that I used to take for granted, like seeing my family without worrying about their health, being able to go to places, to walk around freely, being spontaneous and not having to plan everything into detail. I have really come to value my freedom, and I am sure it will take a good while before I will take it for granted again. So even if 2020 was crap for most of the time, I choose to believe that good things can come from it too, that we learn to reevaluate what is really important in our lives. So yeah, I think that is something that many of us can take with us from last year. And also something completely different. Last year in October, our new little kitten was born, so that makes up for a lot, I think. And again, I didn't know about the supplies in this box. I didn't know what I would work with for the portrait, but I realized when I was working on this portrait how fitting it is having this black board that looks all dark and dull, but when scraping a little on the surface there is this bright warm glow underneath. So I think it kind of represents last year quite well. It seems all dark, but under all of that darkness there were still a few glimpses of light. finally, let's leave 2020 behind and focus on this new year instead. And yes, it is already starting a little upside down, but I still have high hopes. And again, if you have any art goals or goals in general, feel free to share them with us. And I think my biggest goal in general is my mental health, to just stay away from anxiety and stress. So I try to meditate, and I will try to get better habits and all those kinds of things. Just try to take care of myself a little better, I suppose, and hopefully that will reflect in my work. I will get more energy for different ideas, and I can more easily decide what I want to do and what I want to focus on. Overall, I hope to get things done. So I am determined to make that darn coloring book now. This is the year. Even if it is just a digital book that I sell in my Etsy shop, I will make it. I've been talking about it for so long now, so I cannot not make it. And speaking of Etsy, that has also been a work in progress that has been kind of delayed because of the pandemic. I wanted to open the shop a few months ago, but then the restrictions got even harder, and I don't want to go to the post office in these times, so I will have to wait until things calm down again. But hopefully I will be able to sell some physical products in my shop later this spring or maybe early summer, I don't know. But I could start selling digital products earlier though, like downloadable content and digital portraits and commissions. We'll see. And another little project that I will start very soon and that I'm very excited about is my Patreon sketchbook. And it may not sound like much, but I really want to share more content on Patreon, sketches and work in progress. But currently I don't do a lot of art outside of YouTube and Redbubble, so I thought that having a sketchbook dedicated to Patreon mainly would be a good way to create content and also draw more outside of YouTube. And hopefully it will also take me to one of my other goals, to actually finally finish at least one sketchbook this year. And it's a goal that I've had every year, but maybe this is the year, we'll see. And yeah, lastly, and it's not really a goal, but it is something that I'm really looking forward to, and it's very, very exciting. As I mentioned before, in October our new little kitten was born, and now this Sunday, the day after this video is released, he will finally come and live with us. And we have wanted a new kitten even before Ludwig passed, and now Sally is all alone, so it is just about time. And if everything goes well, there will probably be a little introduction video in the nearest future. Let's take a look at the previous portraits that I made, and this one is from 2012, 14, 15, a little more cartoony, 2016, 17, 2018 and 2019, and I know it says 2020 on it because I made these past few drawings in the beginning of the year, but I make the portrait to reflect on the previous year, I suppose. So this is the portrait for 19. Here is my portrait. I love how it turned out, and I love that the copper matches my hair. I had a lot of fun with art supplies. I was a little skeptical if it would even work to make a portrait with, but I think it turned out very interesting. These copper foil boards, they look so shiny and cool. I love it. And I realized pretty quickly that it wouldn't take that long to finish this portrait, so I made a few more pieces so that you would have something to watch. And I hope you enjoyed this video and the art. Thanks Smart Art for the box, and thank you guys for watching. I hope I will see you next time. Keep drawing my happy cats. Bye!